You know, as we do this talk today, to do the impossible, you have to see the invisible. Do you realize that people come to our country because they see something in our country that we don't really see? And that's opportunity. When you talk to other people come from other countries, they'll go, I just saw in America things I can do that I couldn't do where I was before. They don't kind of look at what isn't happening. They think about what could happen. And so if you meet so many people who come here, which I have, that do well, they go, I didn't come for a job. I came for the opportunity. To do the impossible, you have to see the invisible. Let me give you a story that pulls sort of what I do together with that opening. I work with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and my friend Tim was just joking. I go, well, I guess the Pope wasn't available. But I went to the Jaguars. Their owner, he's worth $7 billion, but he went to University of Illinois from Pakistan. Didn't have a penny to his name. And he was washing dishes at the University of Illinois to pay for his education. He's worth $7 billion today. He developed a flexi bumper that's on every car. I think he made $1,400 and every car has been sold for years, maybe in the world. So he's washing dishes, and as he's washing these dishes, there's an NFL game on which he's never seen before. So I'm guessing he's 19, 20 years old. He doesn't have any money. He's washing dishes to pay for school. And he asked somebody, what is that I'm looking at? They said, an NFL game. He said, oh. He makes a bold statement. He said, I'm going to own one of those teams one day. They laughed at him. They're not laughing now. So when somebody goes from washing dishes to owning a team, when somebody goes from being miserable to being happy, when somebody goes and has a life that they feel like, I feel proud of, I feel good about, how'd they do it? How does somebody go from washing dishes? How does somebody go from being miserable? How does somebody go from being unhealthy to a much better place? Well, everything happens twice. Good happens twice. It first happens in your mind, then it happens in reality. So you have to see it first. Have you ever thought about the pictures you generated in your mind? Now, I've learned something about the people we have on this talk. If you ever do a talk on how to be a good parent, you know who comes? Good parents. Sure, somebody walk in and say, I'm a schmuck of a parent. Where's the sign-up sheet? Good parents come to talk on being a good parent. If you ever do a talk on wealth, wealthy people tend to come to that talk. If you ever do a talk on how to be alive and healthy, healthy people and healthy eaters and healthy livers tend to come to that talk. So I want to ask you a question that I want to try to answer, but I want you to ask it open-ended, Tim, to yourself. Do you have faith in faith? Do you believe believing in something matters? Because I've met a lot of people that have generated big life, affluent life, a life where they're blessing others, a life that they're healthy. The bad stuff happens on its own. You don't have to create that. But health, wealth, a life of significance, it happens first in your mind, then in real life. To do the impossible, to do what you never thought you could do, to own an NFL team and you didn't even see an NFL game before, you have to see it. You have to picture it. You have to do it in your mind over and over and over. Michael Phelps, every single day, greatest Olympian of our time, would visualize. His coach told him, visualize, run the tape, play the tape in your mind of every race. So he did. He played the tape every day. He got in the water in Beijing. And when he got in the water in Beijing to do the 200 butterfly, his goggles broke. He couldn't see. St. Anthony was asked, what's worse than being blind? Helen Keller was asked, what's worse than being blind? And she said, and he said, having no vision is worse than being blind. And the problem we have, Greg, during COVID and is people dummied down their vision, their work ethic. They got comfortable being comfortable. They didn't get comfortable being uncomfortable. They got used to being comfortable. They want to be comfortable. But now you don't really live a life of significance because you're into comfort. So Michael Phelps visualized how he was going to run the race. Do you ever visualize how you're going to do the day before you do the day? Ever visualize doing the life? I was just talking to a friend of mine out here in Cincinnati. I go, people spend more time visualizing the wedding than they do the marriage. They get blindsided by the marriage, but they got every detail of the wedding down pat. Here's when the cookies come. Here's when I say I do. Here's when the violins start to play. Maybe y'all should visualize the marriage and not so much the wedding. Can I get a witness? So, his goggles are broke. He's blind. I think COVID blinded us. Do you have a vision that goes beyond your eyes? Do you have a mind's eye? Do you see it and then act it? And here comes my question I'll ask throughout this talk, Tim and Greg. Do you have faith in faith? Do you think believing in something, you live in a cynical world. Everybody's cynical now. I want to tell you, people are cynical. And the biggest epidemic we have today isn't vision. Can I tell you what it is? Offended. Everybody's offended. Now, if you offend somebody, you don't even know what you did. Is burn their house down, make sure the kids don't ever eat again. Come on, somebody. So his goggles are broken. I'm setting this bad boy up. And he's swimming. He can't see. But he played this tape in his head 1,000,000 times. So he goes down to hit the wall. And he's coming back to finish the race. He keeps saying, play the tape. You got it locked in your head. Some people play tape every day of nothing good happening. Some people play the tape, I'm probably talking about your partner, where they're going to be offended. Some people play the tape constantly. I'm going to show you how you play the tape of just bad happening. Some of y'all, and you tend not to be on this talk, are your hero and the main actor in your own misery show. Come on, I'll probably lose a couple people around now, Greg. But the great ones play the tape of victory. Here's your first little nugget. Don't be a victim, be a victor. If you're a victim, you won't make it to the end of this talk. If you're a victim, you probably didn't start this talk. If you're a victim, COVID played real well to you. But yet, we've been working with businesses that quadrupled their practices during COVID. They weren't victims. Nothing happens to them. Everything happens for them. Uh-oh, gave you another nugget. Uh-oh, there we go. He came down to finish the race playing the tape in his head of winning, of victory. He saw the invisible. And he hit the wall, blind, and he realized because he saw the invisible, he did the impossible. He hit the wall and looked up at the scoreboard. Said Michael Phelps, world record. You got to see it. I just worked with somebody, just got done in the office of Cincinnati, and the guy said, can you help me with my golf game? I said, well, you're not any good before this, so I can't help you after. I go, with the shot, you have to see the shot and then trust. You have to see it and then you trust it. How do you see your future? How do you see America? How do you see Alpine? How do you see you? How do you see your family? Do you have a vision? Here comes a bad boy coming if you want to pick up your pen. Ready? You either live in vision or you live in circumstance. Oh, that was a nugget right there. You are constantly in a vision, moving toward it. You're sitting around talking about circumstance. Let's talk about divisions of people. Small people talk about people. Most people talk about events. Did you see the ball game yesterday? But the great ones talk about ideas and their vision. You remember you talked your vision about? I don't know if you saw the play where Boise State was playing against Oklahoma and they had to end around. They won the game on. They like threw the ball back and the guy came around, grabbed the ball, won for Boise State. They beat Oklahoma. The head coach, Peterson, had a group. They talked about vision once a week. He's a football coach. A dance instructor. They had a music school. A business instructor and a chemistry instructor was in his group. He got the end around play from the dance instructor. Does anybody expand you? Give you ideas you usually don't have before? Do you hang out with somebody that could stretch you? Have you see life differently? To do the impossible, you have to see the invisible. I worked for the New Orleans Saints for a year. We had a guy named Darren Howard who eventually came to him to play for the Eagles. And so Darren was a rookie from Kansas State. He didn't want to hear me. Sometimes there's an arrogance with, I know everything. Well, I guess you do, because I'm still figuring it out. You have some ideas, call me. So they got on him in New Orleans. You don't have any vision. You got it all down. So he came with me and I recorded a recording. I did one for Jalen Hurt yesterday. I record stuff from my people. And the recording was him seeing himself coming around defensive end, clearing the guy's hands, hitting the quarterback, scooping up the fumble, running for a touchdown. I don't know, we just played it over and over and over. During the game, he came around the corner. It doesn't always go this way. Stripped the quarterback, picked the ball, ran for a touchdown. Greg, the next week when I walked in there, he was waiting on me. I go, don't always go this way. You ever visualize greatness and service? Now, let me tell you the problem. Inattentionally, we visualize the opposite. Complaining is visualizing what you don't want. Let me do that again. Complaining is visualizing what you don't want. Worry is praying for what you don't want. Calling up somebody you think is cathartic, there's no research that says it's cathartic. In fact, research says if you walk with your good friend and they got a divorce, you're 80% more likely to get divorced in that calendar year. I don't know, baby. We were doing fine until I realized they weren't doing fine. Now the flaws they're seeing, I'm starting to see. Be careful. So really what we're talking about here is the lens. Let me explain what I mean by the lens. Last week I was flying on Wednesday, yes, from Pittsburgh to Dallas. I was in seat 17F. To do the impossible, you have to see the invisible. So as I'm flying, I'm old school. I have a DVD player and I'm watching movies and lectures and sermons and so forth. But the window at the exit aisle was broke. So I took the window and started playing with it and trying to fix it. I didn't fix it. But I got this like Vaseline substance on my glasses, but I couldn't fix the window. So it was too bright to watch the movie. So I thought I'll take a little nap. I took a nap, had my glasses on, woke up. My right eye ain't working. It looks like my left ear, but my right eye ain't working. I woke up. Here's my next point. One of the most powerful things that you have is your imagination. Your imagination can either run you into the grave or take you to the top of the mountain. It can either push you down through the floor, and here's the problem. Ready? Your imagination runs 24 hours a day. There's never a time it stops. You think it is, but it's a motor that never stops. And if you don't take command of it, it's running you into the ground. Nothing good will happen. Nothing good can happen. I'm just going to go kick the bucket. So my imagination takes over. I can't get my eye open, so I go what knows everything. Google. Google knows everything. So I Google, what happens if your right eye is blurry? Your imagination runs 24 hours a day. If you don't take command of it, it's going to run you to the grave. If you don't take command of it, it's going to throw you right into the ground. If you don't take command of it, it's going to destroy your health, destroy your relationships, destroy your marriage, make you quit this business, tell you nothing good's coming. All I know is our stock market doesn't go like that, but it does go like that. That's all I know. But you listen to them long enough, we're all going to you know where. So I go on What Knows Everything, Google, and it tells me I'm either having a stroke or I got glaucoma. So now I'm rooting for glaucoma. I'm rooting for glaucoma. I can't see nothing. So I call my doctor. He's saying, yeah, I think you got the start of glaucoma because you're in pretty good shape. You run every day. He said, you probably got glaucoma. Then, by accident, I take off my glasses and I grab these other glasses. And I can see clear. I realized that substance on the window, when I took my glass on off, I got on this lens and it was covered with that Vaseline. My eye was fine. The lens was crazy. How's your lens? My eye was fine. My lens was crazy. Do you think we're all going to, you think it's all crazy? You think you're going nowhere? You think you got no power? You think the relationships are gone? You think your kids are shot? They will be. Because you're walking around complaining and worrying and visualizing, and whatever you think about, you're going to get. My words shall not come back void unto me. Neither will your thoughts. Here comes your challenge. Stop complaining. You're sitting around and visualizing misery. Stop worrying. What do you mean? Well, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you in a second. But to do the impossible, you have to see the invisible. Do you have faith in faith? Now, let's talk about faith. A lot of people quit. Greg, we're talking about not quitting. A lot of people quit because they don't have faith. Kathy Hughes, Bank One, Radio One, billionaire, didn't have a penny to her name. Went to 39 banks asking for a loan to buy a radio station for $980,000. She had any money. Would you have gone to 39 banks? Would you have kept on going when everybody says no? I was with a guy 1 hour ago who has a Rolls Royce. I go, why do you have this Rolls Royce? He said, only him and the Queen have this car and a chic. He has a Rolls Royce. $670,000. Why? I'll remind myself that 60,000 times I was rejected and I kept going. Okay. So Kathy Hughes, a lot of you got to be honest, you're not going hard because you lost your faith. And faith isn't something you talk about. You have to see it. So, over and over and over, Kathy Hughes, 39 banks. She interviews people on the hillside, what they want a radio station, and then go program the radio station. The 40th bank said yes. Come on, somebody. Do you have that kind of tenacity? Do you have that kind of faith? Do you keep on going? Faith is something we plant in our own head. Faith. J.K. Rowling, 500, wait on it, million copies of Harry Potter. 15 times that manuscript was rejected. That was the only book she published to that point. Old typewriter. Do you have that kind of faith? In what? In you? That something can happen? I went to see I love presidential museums. I went to the Jimmy Carter Museum down in Atlanta. They said to him, when did you think you'd be the president of the United States? He said, I never did. So I met a couple of those guys. I said, that guy can be the president. I think I can be the president. To have that kind of faith to keep on going. Some of y'all think it's not worth it. I was telling my friend Tim, I just spoke for Lincoln down in New Orleans. I was a lot happier at the end of my jog. I jog every morning on the streets than I was beginning because there was marijuana every 5 steps. I caught contact. But on those streets, there was a homeless person about every 10 steps. One of them was Tyler Perry for 7 years on those streets. Makes $150 million a year now, last 10 years. He kept on going because he had faith. So, I'm going to talk to you about 3 things today. Goals, nitty-gritty goals, language. Goals, nitty-gritty goals, and language. Now, What's most important is how you frame stuff. What's one of the most important things is how you frame it. So let's talk about how you frame it. If you say this is hard times, I got to get through it, then all you'll do is cope. You're sitting home, you got your sweatpants on, you're just trying to get through it. If you're saying I just got to cope, and that's how you frame it, then that's what you'll do. Nothing till it's over, whenever it's going to be over. The great ones, they go forward and grow during, and they keep on growing. And that's how they frame it. So here you go. I worked for the New York Giants years ago. There was a story that drove us. James Stockdale was shot down in Vietnam. And as he was shot down, he was the highest ranking official ever shot down. He was coming down to the ground. As he's coming down to the ground, he was thinking, in the Korean conflict, America's killed Americans. I'm not going to let that happen. He developed a mindset, U.S., united over self. Greg, every shirt when I worked for the Giants had U.S. on their back shirt. United over self. People were tortured in that camp. John McCain came out of that camp, and they offered him freedom. I don't want unless you free everybody. Watch when they asked people, what kind of experience was it? 70% of the people said, best experience of my life. You were tortured, you were starved, you're by yourself. Why? Because they framed it different. We're going to grow. Frame this time as opportunity. Frame this time as something good can happen. I got a crazy phrase I say. This didn't happen to me, it happened for me. Frame it. Look, there are people out there that tripled their income, tripled their practice during this time. Because they framed it as a time of opportunity. Hey Greg, I love what Michael Strahan said when they went out and beat the Patriots. He said the final score of this game is 16-14, which I think that's what it was. If you believe that, that will happen. If you see it and you believe it, you'll achieve it. Oh, think and grow rich. Frame it. It's opportunity. This isn't coping time. Now, goals. I'm going to give you what we did research-wise. Look at the 3 great habits, the 3 great things I want you to do to have one of your best years ever. Right now. Why not now? Here it comes. Your mind is a big garden. If every day you plant that garden green beans, you get green beans. If every day you plant that corn, you get corn. If every day you plant that garden, nothing, you get weeds. Most of y'all got weeds. You have to plant, and plant big, and plant vision. Plant big vision. Why not? They laughed at Noah. They laughed at the guy who owns the Jaguars. Let them laugh at you. The lion doesn't care that the hyena laughs at it. Doesn't care. Don't care what anybody says. Think big. Look, I saw where a woman picked up a car in Tallahassee. She was 76 years old. I don't know if y'all ever thought about those. She was 76. That impresses me because I can only bench press 90 pounds. Come on. And it was on her granddaughter. She picked that car up. It was up on jacks. She must have some kind of crazy faith. She walked over and did it. She defied the laws of gravity. Look, the dude I'm telling you, you got to be unrealistic. The dude I'm telling you, y'all got me fired up. You got to be unrealistic. So, Mark McCormick wrote a book where they didn't teach in Harvard School of Business. Planting it. Ongoing. I'm going to use this phrase a couple times, Greg. Ready? Structured goal setting. Not goal setting, structured. It's not a philosophy. It's a constant doing of. Structured goal setting. Deliberate goal setting. Planting over and over. You know how you get rid of negative and the worrying and complaining? You don't stop it. You plant over top of it. Don't pull weeds. Keep planting grass. Squeeze it out. You want a good lawn? Keep planting grass. You'll get a good lawn. Don't choke out them weeds. Keep planting the positive. Keep planting vision. Plant it over. That's how you get rid of it. Same way you get rid of a weed. This is good. Tim, I hope y'all recording this one. Play it back for me. So, you plant it over and over and over. So, I have a little notebook. I want a crazy, healthy body. I write it every day. I want the number one factor in warm, close is warm, close relationships. I want to connect every day with Tim. I'm at Lincoln because I love Tim. I love Dana Otter. You guys get rid of Dana, you're gonna get rid of me. That's my buddy. You got to have something. So every day I want to get better with my body, because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. I want my connection with people better, and I want to grow my business every day. And I just write out like that. So McCormick found a study done at Harvard. 1970, brought 100 MBA students. And they told those MBA students, write your goals every day. I mean big. I mean crazy. I mean, let them laugh at you. Why not you? 100 of them, 84 didn't do it. I don't worry who doesn't come to my talks, because they weren't going to do it anyway. I don't worry about that none. When I was at the Steelers, Chuck Noll said, I never worry about who isn't here. I worry about who is here. Plant it every day. Teach your kids, keep planting. 13 came back 10 years later, did it in their heads, not on paper. They made twice as much money. Now, I like what Zig Ziglar said. Money isn't everything, but it ranks up there with oxygen. 3 did it. They made 10 times as much money. Because they saw the impossible. They saw the invisible. They did the impossible. Why not? Why can't you? Over and over and over till you get there. Constantly. Writing it out. This is my goal. This is where I'm headed. And having faith that it can happen. Now, I want to give you a little tech. So write them out. I have a little notebook. I write them out. They try to steal my notebook. Now, let's talk about something, writing them out. I love this book. I love this book. Get this book, Tim. The Magic of Believing. Claude Bristol, 1940. Last time I'm giving you today is Magic of Believing, 1940. Psycho-Cybernetics, 1960. Think and Grow Rich, 1940. But I love this part of it. They took salespeople back in 1940 and had them get in front of the mirror and see their day and see them and talk in a mirror. Nobody could fight like you fight. Talking themselves. Nobody go out there and have grit like you have it. Nobody resilient like you. You know, statistically, those salespeople went through the roof. You have to self-nourish you. Let's talk about faith in your goal. You have a chemical in your brain called serotonin. This is where believing is so magic. Every time you have a victory, Michael Phelps, this chemical, serotonin, is in your brain. It makes you happy, but also makes you aggressive. Just think if you took like a Benadryl because you had an allergy, and then you try to do something. Your chemistry won't let you do it. You had a shot of coffee, you drank some coffee, and now your chemistry says, let's go. When you have any victory in your life, this is why you have to keep seeing it happen. When you have victory, you get serotonin. Few people have faith. Few people have serotonin. All classical music is for composers. Bach, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and Mozart. All the movies you'll see out there today about 6 producers, 6 directors. That's all. There's 1.5 million books. Thanks for buying my book, Greg. There are 1.5 million books published a year. Only 100 sell over 500 copies. Only 100. You have to see victory when you don't have victory. So, what animal in the water, beside the dolphin, has the highest amount of serotonin? Chemical makes you happy and aggressive. The shark. Until it sees a whole team of orca whales coming at it. That just lays down like a puppy and gets eaten. 2 points. 1. You have to believe in you. If you want to watch something that's fabulous, watch Tiger Woods', it's on YouTube, Fox interview after he won the Masters. He talked to himself. He nourished him. Tiger, you can still do this. Tiger, we can go forward. Tiger, here comes the visualizing. Keep plodding along. He was a good friend to himself. Go be a good friend. Keep chopping, keep playing. Talk to you. Get in front of the mirror. I have a friend who was the CEO of a large pharmaceutical company, and a Wall Street raider was trying to buy him out. He got in front of the mirror. You're tougher than him. You fight better than him. He's not going to take. He didn't. He said he could have bought us with a checkbook. What a checkbook he could have bought us. He didn't. Go choose it. And here's the next part. Get people around you that believe in you. The Orca Wells gets in a group of people that goes and believes in them. Tony Robbins made $90 million one year, the motivational speaker. Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, made $4 million one year. Canfield goes to Robbins. I heard you made $90 million last year. Robbins said, I did. Canfield goes, you have a GED. You didn't graduate from high school. Canfield says, I got a bachelor's and master's from Harvard. You made like 15 times more money than me. He said, I do. He said, you have a mastermind group that gets together and goes over ideas. He said, every 2 weeks. He said, interests mine too. He said, how much do they make in your group? Canfield said, you know, we all make $4 million. Robbins said, they all make $90 million in my group. Give us some people to think big, to think outlandish. Don't sit around and complain. Go get a big, bold vision. Give us some people to think outlandish, that don't think you're crazy when you think crazy, unrealistic. And write them out every day and plant them in your garden. Healthy body. I write it out every day. Close relationships with others every day. Growing my business. Now, I draw a box after that, and I write WIN, what's important now? What matters is your effort today. So let me ask you this question if you watched that football game last night. Dallas Cowboys had 4 first downs their first series with the ball. They have another first down, I think, to the fourth quarter. Why in football is the best series the first series? Why? Why did Lynch, who was the safety for the Buccaneers on the sideline when they were playing Oakland Raiders, say, this is wonderful during the Super Bowl. I know what they're doing. After you set your big goals, set your daily activity goals, and get somebody to make you accountable. Why am I saying that? Faith isn't something that you talk about. It's something I can tell you got by your actions. Go act like you think something's going to happen. William James said, people aren't happy because they sing. He said, look, people don't sing because they're happy because they sing. Go act like you have faith. Go do your daily activity. Keep on going. I have this phrase I use. Keep on giving your activity and the rewards come. I play this for me all the time. Ready? Here's what I do. Stay focused. Stay on your daily activity. And I play this in my head all the time. Ready?
That was easy.
I played it all the time. Get your vision. Stay on and write out your process. And then keep on saying to yourself, look, I'm flying from Cincinnati to Minneapolis. When I go to the airport, I'm going, Kevin, here's what we're going to say at the end of that trip.
That was easy.
I want to keep it easy. I don't want to do it hard. I got my process. Results will come when they want. I'm not going to get discouraged. I'm not going to get offended. I'm not going to lose my mind. That's all I'm going to say. Write out what you want to do. 3 things I want to do to have a healthy body. HIIT training. I'm a vegan. I ate nothing but a mother, nothing with a face. I had a couple of scoops of oatmeal a minute ago. And the other thing I do is I meditate. And as far as my health goes,
that was easy.
And that's what I stay with. I'm going to do those things constantly and let the rest come to me. Connection. Here's who I'm going to call and listen to and connect with. Here's who I'm going to call and encourage. Here's who I'm going to call and I'm going to thank. I'm going to do that all day long. And I write out before the day starts. And then when the day's done,
that was easy.
And that's how I do it. I'm going to get in front of this many people today. Tim, you better do what I'm telling you. I want you all to do this. Here's the people I'm going to get in front of. Here's the people I'm going to present to. And here's how many times I'm going to ask for business. During COVID, I'm a platform speaker. I didn't know what to do. So I said 20 phone calls a day, 20 asks a day. So I was just with a guy who quadrupled his business. I was down in Florida at the Fontainebleau Friday. How'd you do it? It's not connection, it's standardized connection. He said, you want me to tell you how to do it? I spend 2 hours every day, still do connecting with people. It's standardized. That's what I did during COVID. Here's the 20 phone calls you're going to make today, the 20 asks. And then after that, it's easy. What do I work with people in the NFL? Quarterback's too hard to play hard. Parenting's too hard to do hard. And being a financial professional is too hard to beat too hard. So, goals. Laying out your nitty-gritty goals. And being accountable and someone keeping you on it. Now, I want to get to now talking to you. It's real easy, Greg. Vision with big, bold faith. Daily activity. Writing it out and staying on it. Don't think your way into acting, act your way into thinking. And here comes the big one. If it's not your goals, it's not your daily activity, ignore it. Let me do that again. If it's not your goals, it's not your daily activity, ignore it. Train your mind to not pay attention to junk and stupid and crazy. They carried me out of my house in an ambulance. I called my birthday, June 5th, 2017. I learned to quit paying attention to stuff. All right, I got some Philly people on this call. Baseball pitcher for the New York Mets, Tom McGraw, came out with this phrase, you got to believe. They trade him to the Phillies. They interview him in Philadelphia and ask him, what do you like better, AstroTurf or grass? He says, I don't know. I never smoked AstroTurf. His son is a country western singer. The baseball player passed away. A song came out of this country western singer. That's my dad. About a guy who had a bad x-ray when his friend said, it's over. What you realize this? I went skydiving. I went Rocky Mountain climbing. I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. Loved deeper, spoke sweeter. I gave forgiveness I've been denying. Hope you get the chance to live like you're dying. Live big. Die empty. Live full. Die empty. Do it all, but ignore stuff that doesn't matter. Little stuff, stupid stuff, argumentative stuff. Just let that go. Let go, you need to be right. Just go. Quit paying attention to stuff. It doesn't matter. That's what I learned. Albert Einstein. The weak seek revenge. The strong seek forgiveness. The intelligent ignore. Learn not to pay attention. They did research out at Stanford. They took happy, effective people that were older. Put them on MRI. Flash positive imagery at them. First, they took young people, positive imagery, their brains fired. Negative imagery, their brains fired. Took older, effective people, shot positive imagery, their brains fired. This is a big point. Negative imagery, they didn't notice. They didn't notice it. Do you notice anytime somebody says something rude, are you offended all day long? Are you in self-pity? Your partner, every same comment they make that you don't notice, can you let it go or just hang on it? How do you do that? Train your mind to ignore. I say stuff like no mental clutter. I say stuff like, I do a meditation when I jog. Don't let my mind go to anything that I can't do anything about today. I say no mental clutter. Let go, you need to be right. Train your mind to ignore. Here's my favorite one. Don't look at the clowns. There's so many people doing clown behavior competing for your attention. Don't give it. Don't give it. My goals, my nitty-gritty action. And let your nitty-gritty action look like you think something amazing is going to happen. And my language. So let's do language. Let me give you my self-talk phrase. I do this. If you heard me speak before, you're hearing it again. I have one phrase I use that keeps me on goals. When we did research with the top financial advisors, they all had a vision. On a scale 1 to 20, they were 18 on their goals. Outside, 10. Here comes my self-talk phrase. Ready? So what, now what? It all comes down to vision. So what, now what? So what, now what? If I can't do anything about it, so what? Now what? I'm going to start pulling this together with this story. Because you guys are down in South Florida. Rob Conrad for years. Was with the Miami Dolphins when I was there. He was a fullback out of Syracuse. Never saw him run out of bounds. Ever. Have you ever watched a football game and you've not seen a guy not run out of bounds? He never ran out of bounds. I said, Rob, I've noticed something. You don't run out of bounds. He goes, I did one time. And the head coach, Jimmy Johnson, you ever run out of bounds? Because I'm going to cut you. You never run out of bounds. Do you know that complaining, you train your mind? Neurons that fire together wired to complain. Self-pity, you train your mind for self-pity. Faith, you train your mind with faith. You think it over and over and over. Vision, you train your mind for vision. You do it over and over and over. Your mind gets locked down on that practice. His brain got locked down in not going out of bounds, finishing everything. So his career ended. 10 years later, he's fishing in Boca Raton. His boat is on automatic pilot. He's 7 miles out and he falls off the boat. Greg, have you ever been in a relationship? Tim, have you ever been in a relationship, rest of you, and you kind of fell off the boat? And you couldn't get back to the boat no matter how hard you swam, the boat was going the other way. Ever try to get to a kid, to one of your children? Ever try to get somebody you loved and trying to help them, but that boat just kept on floating away? The boat was floating away faster than he could swim to it. What do you do? What do you do when COVID hits and everything changed? What do you do when the Ukraine hits and everything changed? What do you have when 2008 hits and everything changed? Do you just sit in the water? I can only respect you if they dump us in the water and land us 1,000 miles away and we swam together. So the boat's gone. It's February. The water's 45 degrees. He's 7 miles out. He thought about his wife and kids. That's what you keep going for family. You make a difference. You make people's lives better. You bring peace. So go be bold. Bold like the lion. And he thought about the shore. He did the impossible because he saw the invisible. He saw the shore. I think Jimmy Johnson saved his life. I think Jimmy Johnson changed his brain. He practiced vision, he practiced grit, he practiced resiliency, and he delivered it. This isn't a motivational talk. It's how to train your mind. That you're going to fall off that boat because hard's coming. But hard's not negative. Our thinking is negative. Do you have faith in faith? Do you believe anything can happen? If you do, write out your vision and your dreams constantly, over and over and over. Write it over and over and over. Write out your daily nitty-gritty goals. Get people to keep you accountable to them. Activity. You know why? Because being mindful and working hard feels good because you respect yourself. As compared to leisure. Talk to you. So what, now what? Keep swimming. And then when that's all done, you'll have this feeling as you complete everything.
That was easy.
I've gone 1 minute over what I was supposed to. I believe in what you guys do. This talk was a lot about faith. Now go act like you do. I think you make a difference, so go act like you do. I know you're a blessing to people. So go serve them, and you act like you know you're a blessing to people. All right, I'm turning this back over to Tim, you and Greg. Greg, you and Tim, you guys have it. Turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Elko. What an amazing presentation. I mean, listen, it doesn't get better than that. The stuff that you're giving us, the nuggets, I took notes. I'm going to have to listen to this again. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was really good stuff. And we don't get a chance to hear a lot of this as often as we need to. And you're right. I wrote down no mental clutter. Very important. That's so important. I mean, we get drowned out with all the noise that's going on. You either live in vision or circumstance. That was fantastic. I mean, it's really I can't say enough good things. This is really one of our better series in our Sales Professional Academy. So I want to thank Dr. Elko for his time in coming today and dedicating, this amount of time to just give us really a great vision into what could be, and do you have faith in faith? It's fantastic. And I also want to thank Lincoln Financial, Tim from Lincoln Financial, who is our co-sponsor for today's event. I believe we're going to be able to open up some questions that you can type into the box. There's questions and answers now. And we'd like to read them off, and maybe Dr. Elko will be able to take them on, and then we'll break this meeting shortly.
Here's the
Any
first question. How when you get off of this is easy? You don't
Yeah.
look. When I say this is easy, and I did this with Jalen Hurt yesterday, you keep your intensity with your work, but you don't play the results hard. When I say easy, I don't mean leisure. Like, I'm doing this talk, I'm not focused. I appreciate what Greg's saying. That's not what's the focus of my talk. It was doing the talk in a way that I have structured in my mind and prep. But I'm not forcing it. When a quarterback is trying to force it, that's when they make the mistakes. When the surgeon's trying to force it, that's when they make the medical error. When the financial professor's trying to force it, that's when we make the mistakes. What you want to do is you do your process, lay it out, write out your nitty-gritty goals. This is the activity for today. The quarterback, he's stepping back, doing his reads, the ball's out of his hand. The golfer is just seeing the line and trusting and hitting the ball. But you're not like sitting there white knuckling it saying, I got to get the birdie, I got to score the touchdown. You stay in the process. And the process basically is, look, connect with people. Connection is the ball game now. Connect with people. Listen to them. Find out what their needs are. Ask for business. But you don't have to go and do this hard. Because quarterback, parenting, it's too hard to do hard. Now, do you have a day where your schedule is, my day is laid out. Like, here's what I'm going to do with exercise. Here's what I'm going to do with my friends' connection. Here's what I'm going to do with my work. I stay on that. But I'm not doing it hard. I'm flowing through it. As I'm flowing through it, the results will come. Don't get panicky. Don't get desperate. Stay on your process. And write down, here's what I'm going to do. Like the Cowboys did the first series, but that was that. They wrote down, here's what we're going to do the first. So they made the first series look real easy. Looked like they struggled the rest of the game because they didn't have their nitty-gritty goals or their process down. Write your daily game plan. I needed to lose weight. No, I needed to get a healthy diet because I was starting to have stuff with my heart. They told me, Cleveland Clinic, you do this diet, you're going to live 40 years. I don't do it hard, but I lay it out. When the day starts, here's the oatmeal you're going to eat, here's the fruits, here's the vegetables, and I just go with it. Somebody asked me, what's your guilty pleasure? I said, my guilty pleasure is living a long time. But I don't do it hard. I don't freak out because I don't have ice cream. This is genetically what I've got. I lay it out and I just go with the flow of it. When you're playing football, you're not going for the touchdown. You're doing it easy, your reads. You're reading what's in front of you, you're taking it. You're stepping up, you're being present, doing the read and take it. Same thing. You're not saying score a touchdown. Get up in front of them, make your reads, take what they're giving you. And so this is a good question. That's where you start this thing. That's where you start this out, So when I say saying easy, the process is easy. How do you increase serotonin in your brain? How do you increase it? By seeing victory, laughing. Now, you can also if you ever go to a psychiatrist, they'll put you on Serotonin or serotonin because those pills also up it. Serotonin is a chemical they found when they do any kind of brain chemistry work in people that are happy. So how do you do it? One, visualize. Here's how I do it. Before you get going, visualize past successes you had, not past failures. I visualize when you've done something well. It's like a sin to do that. Why is it a sin? Visualize what you did well. Visualize when you did win. When I was with the Olympic Committee, we had athletes visualize past successes before they went for the gold medal. And when I keep on visualizing, really, when I keep on visualizing failure, I get a chemical called octopamine, named after the octopus. It gives you fight or flight. If you don't have a backbone, it does nothing for human beings. So when you have loss, you get octopamine, but doesn't do anything for you. It helps the fruit fly and it helps the octopus. It does not help a human being or anybody that has any kind of a backbone, any vertebrae. It doesn't help you. So really, if you visualize failure, you're getting a brain chemistry that makes you keep on failing. But how does four composers do all the music? How has somebody been rejected 60,000 times? How does Kathy Hughes? They kept on visualizing success. So old Ross Perot had a little phrase. Every time someone said no, he did math and said, every 10 times I asked for business, I get 2 yeses. When they said no, he said, thanks for 1/5 yes. He visualized victory when he had defeat. I tell my kids, because you were out there trying and running for it, you had victory. Keep visualizing victory. Get in front of that mirror and say, look, you're the kind of person, Kevin. You're the kind of person, Tim. You're a person great and keeps fighting. It's not being uppity. It's being faithity. And keep on drilling that serotonin in your brain. We need you. I'm not saying that to be cute. They need you out there. Never is a time you've been needed more as being able to direct people today. There's too much confusion. They say that more tough times are coming with this market. That doesn't mean negative times. You know how to direct people through tough times. Keep your faith up. Keep believing in you. Stay on your process and your activity. Stay connected to your people. These are good questions. Stay connected to your people. So, saying easy, you know, what you're saying is, my process, I'm caught in it. I'm caught in the process. And I've got my process down. I stick with it. The results come when they're going to come. And I have to keep on visualizing success through the times, even when I don't have it. Like I hit this rock so many times, eventually it falls. I had a guy that was a real estate agent in Birmingham. He had one phrase he kept on saying, water wears the rock. So he kept on saying, even when I'm not getting what I want, I'm water on that rock. I've eaten up my time. I don't work with a lot of people. I was telling Tim, I'm like Beyonce, man, you got to put a ring on it. I'm with less and less people as time goes on, but Lincoln's one of them. I don't know a whole lot about funds. Tim can explain that to you. But why? I like them. I'm going to point out, Greg, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit older. I don't go work with you as I like you. And one of my favorite here is this guy here, Tim. If they can help you, if I can help you, see him. You're going to find 2 things. One is he'll be good. He'll be eager to help you, too. He's real easy to be around. And I like hanging out with people that are easy to be around. I guess I'm getting old. I like, when I'm around somebody and I hang out for a while, I like this thought in my head.
That was easy.
God bless you guys. You know, I guess I should say roll tide and fly, Eagles fly, but thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Elko. Thanks, Tim. Thank you, everyone. We want to just remind everyone, pay attention to our continuing series. There will be future announcements on our website. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn. Call with any questions. Our phone number, 866-777-2006. Thanks, everyone. Let's have a phenomenal year end. Thanks, Dr. Elko. Take care, everyone.